What's up guys, Tamarakshan here. 2021 is surely the year that companies are focusing on camera system in smartphones. We did see the OnePlus Hasselblad collaboration, and this one is between Vivo and Zeiss. And this collaboration is something that I love. The phone I am reviewing in this video is the Vivo X60 Pro, which is not the top one of the X60 series, but still this camera package is just awesome. And here the segment the X60 Pro falls into is the 50,000 Indian rupees price range, which is the segment where the OnePlus 9 and the iPhone 11 is selling. And after using the Vivo X60 Pro, I think this phone is a pretty great phone with 2 to 3 flaws. And here the best thing with this phone is the marketing hype, which is the camera system. On the rear, as you can see, there are 3 cameras, which are all useful ones. The main sensor is a 48 megapixel wide-angle camera with aperture f1.5, and it does have gimbal stabilization. Then there is the 13 megapixel telephoto camera, which has an aperture of f2.5, and this does have 2x optical zoom capability. And the last camera is also a 13 megapixel camera, which is an ultra wide angle camera, and it has an aperture of f2.2 and 120 degree field of view. And the pictures these camera captures are just excellent. It's not like a 100% perfect shot, but instead it's more of the contrasty shot, and I do like it. Skies looks perfectly blue and the grass has that saturated green tone, and overall, let it be any type of scene, the outcome is just awesome. And it's applicable with shots from all these cameras. And actually there is not much of a tone change from all the 3 cameras. Now this is all applicable only when the scenario you're shooting has sufficient light. And when the light drops, the main camera still does a perfect job. Night mode shots are crisp in dull lighting, and this camera package for sure is the best in this segment for photos. There are also plenty of extra add-on stuff which if you are interested you can make use of. Then about the videos captured, they are also pretty good. Gimbal stabilization is not a gimmick, and hence 4K video at 60 FPS are of great quality. Now in videos also there is the saturated effect, which like I said before is something I like. So overall, this back camera system in the Vivo X60 Pro, which has Zeiss optics, is a great camera package. And for sure, if you're into cameras, you will love the experience the Vivo X60 Pro offers. Now while moving to the front camera, the hole punch camera is a 32 megapixel sensor which has an aperture of f2.5. And this camera is good, but not the best. It's basically because the selfies only look neat when the lighting is good, and when the light gets dull, selfies become like a over-processed soft bake. And actually videos from the front camera is also just average in this segment. Max video resolution supported is 1080p at 30 FPS, and the video clips are not very stable, and also the overall scene does have an overexposed look at times. So that's the camera situation, and here if you're not a very selfie-centric person and also you doesn't rely much on selfie videos, well, you will love the cameras offered. Vivo's done a great job with their camera package, and the hype is real. But then cameras doesn't just make a great phone, especially when it's selling for 50,000 Indian rupees. And here Vivo didn't disappoint in most of the core stuff, because here the display, performance and the build quality are all properly and well done. The display used here is a 6.56 inch AMOLED Full HD Plus panel, and here the best part of this display is that it does support 120 Hz refresh rate. And here as you can see, the bezels are very slim and the hole punch is precisely done. And also about the quality, well, there isn't much to complain. Colors does pop well, and also the viewing angles are neat, and even the peak brightness is more than enough for outdoor usage. Now about the viewing angles, even though from the core viewable area there isn't any issue, well, the curved edges was not something I enjoyed. This is the old Samsung curved display style, and I'm not a fan of it. Now, if Vivo would have made this a flat side, I would have said this is a great display, but then this is what we get, and except this concern, the display experience is enjoyable. And like this, another area which gives an enjoyable experience is the performance and the user experience because of it. The Snapdragon 870 chipset is kinda like the plus version of the Snapdragon 865 Plus, and in real world usage, this is a flagship level processor. And yeah, even though I'm not much into the Vivo skin, which is FunTouch OS, well, the optimization is properly done, and hence your swipes and scrolls all work flawlessly. Now with this phone, I would say there isn't anything to worry with the performance. Let it be a simple task or a graphic intense gaming session, well, the Adreno 650 GPU does an excellent job, and hence I totally love the experience. And here while playing an intense game, there wasn't much of eating issue too. And also about the RAM, well, there is only one variant with the Vivo X60 Pro, and the RAM is 12GB. And here the RAM management is good. 8 apps does stay open in memory if the apps are moderately heavy ones. Then about the storage, well, it's 256GB of UFS 3.1 storage, which is non-expandable, but then here I feel 256GB is more than sufficient. So that's all great, and all these does lead to a good performance, and in turn it does give an enjoyable user experience. And like this, another thing that I liked with this phone is its build quality. This is a well-built phone with proper precision throughout. The front Gorilla Glass 6 and the rear Gorilla Glass 6 does join well with the aluminum frame, And here, even though the frame in the side is very slim, there isn't any form of flexing happening. And that's a great thing because the phone's thickness is not much, measuring 7.6 mm, and also the weight isn't on the heavier side. And here the buttons all work well by providing proper tactile feedback. And also about the ports, well, there is just one which is USB-C, and it does work without any issues. Now here I'm not stating that design is a great plus or a great attraction factor for this phone, because this design is something we are all familiar with. The curved bar type form factor with rectangular rear camera section is kind of a standard thing now, and hence it's not something to hype about. But then the fingerprint scanner provided is a good one which works well with less errors, and also it's fast, so that's a plus point. That said, there are a couple of things that I didn't like with this phone, and in that the main thing is the battery backup. It's average. The battery size is 4200 mAh, which is sufficiently big, but then with the moderately heavy usage in which the refresh rate was set to 120 Hz, well, the screen on time I was getting was in the 4.5 hour range. And here, even if it's an average usage style, the battery won't last more than a day. But then the phone does support fast charging, and you get a 33-watt charger included in box, and if you charge with that, the battery can be topped to 100% from 10% in less than an hour. But here, a couple of key things to keep in mind is that the phone doesn't have support for wireless charging, and also there isn't any official IP rating. Then the second main drawback with this phone is its speaker setup. This is a 50,000 rupees phone, and what you get is just one speaker, and it's this one. This does output adequate sound which has clarity, but then there isn't much a single unit can do, and hence for this price, it's not an acceptable thing. And another thing that was a bit of a concern for me is that the phone is actually very slippery. It's because of this design schematic, and hence for sure I'll recommend to use this phone with a case. And some of the final stuff is that the phone's Bluetooth version is 5.1 and the Wi-Fi is dual band Wi-Fi, and also you get all the needed sensors. And lastly, this is a 5G supported phone, but then based on the specifications provided, well, the Indian unit just has 2 band of 5G support. Now this department is something I can't give a verdict right now because 5G is not yet available in India. And by the way, the earpiece for calls is good, and hence if you do make plenty of calls, you won't have any issues with that too. Well, I guess that's everything about the Vivo X60 Pro. And from all this, even though there are 2 or 3 flaws with this phone, the rest of the things are done perfectly. And I think if you're a person who wants a great camera phone in the 50,000 price range, well, this one is the best option available right now. And with that, you also get the extra benefit in the performance department, display and build quality. But then do keep in mind its shortcomings, and if you have concerns with those things, well, there are other choices in this price range. That's all for this video, guys. Hope you liked it. If so, a like is much appreciated, and a sub to the channel will be awesome. See you again in the next one. Till then, bye.